This video is going to be a response to a 7-month-old video that the Vlogbrothers posted, but I've wanted to respond to it ever since then. This is a very good time in my life to make the response to it. 7 months ago, Hanky Green uploaded a video called The Sudden Obliteration of Expectation, and it is this concept of you have this idea of what your life is going to be, and all of a sudden you realize it is no longer going to be like that. And sometimes you don't even realize that you have this expectation until all of a sudden it cannot exist. For him, his example was he always had an expectation that he would be able to eat popcorn, and now that's not really something that he'll be able to do. This is the last YouTube video that I'm recording in this space, which is why I am making this video now. I am moving today, away from college and into a world of I don't know. I am dropping out of college, as I said in an earlier video. There's just a lot of things where it's like, this isn't what I expected. It's maybe not even a sudden obliteration of expectation, but it is an obliteration of expectation. As a kid, always expecting that I would be there for every Thanksgiving and every Christmas, expecting that I would always be an arm's length away from my siblings, an expectation that I knew what I was doing with my life. Senior year, I had this expectation that I would be a theater teacher by like next year. And now I'm dropping out and I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and it's just this obliteration of everything that I thought I was going to have and do and be. On campus last week, we had a professor who I did not know, but he ended up losing his life to suicide on campus, and it is something that was definitely obliteration of expectation for me, and it was very sudden. The expectation that I would be away from gun violence was obliterated. The expectation that I would be okay here was obliterated, because at first we didn't know what the situation was, and all of a sudden there was a gun situation at school, and I had a lot of obliterations of expectation. And he passed away, and now I have this recurring fear of a sudden obliteration of expectation, which is I am repeatedly afraid of losing people to death. I'm terrified of suicide because I have had a lot of people who I almost lost to suicide, and that is a very scary thing for me. I've lost a lot of people this year. I've lost animals, and I've lost people, and I've just lost expectations. I've lost expectations for what my life is going to look like. Every time I move, I have this feeling of just utter homelessness, like I don't know where I'm going. I feel like I haven't had a place that I belonged in years, and that is a very scary and saddening feeling. I have a lot of bad feelings about whenever I move somewhere where I don't know anyone, like moving to this college. I didn't have anyone here. I had one person that I knew on the entire college. So it was really scary moving here, not knowing anyone, and moving away from situations that I was comfortable and aware of. And now I have friends here and I'm leaving them, and all of a sudden I just feel utterly heartbroken. And I'm going to go move in with people who are very important to me, probably some of the most important people in my life. I'm still leaving a lot of stuff and heading into unknown. I'm going to be living in a city that I've never lived in before, and I don't know what happens after this. I have an idea of what happens after this, but even last week in Michigan, COVID restrictions had been reinstated, and that was another sudden obliteration of expectation, because it became this fear of, will I be able to get a job to support myself next year? Will I be able to get a car? Will I be able to do this? Will I be able to do that? What am I going to be able to or not able to do? And I think that this year's had a lot of that sudden obliteration of expectation. And now, sitting in an empty room full of my stuff in boxes, I all of a sudden have this again, sudden realization that yes, I'm moving. I've known that I'm moving, but now it is real. Now it is, I'm not going to live here anymore. Now it is all the friends that I've made here I'm not going to see anymore. And now it is, I'm going into this unknown world in an unknown time with no plans, no knowing of what's going to happen next. A specific obliteration of expectation is that I always expected that I would have expectations, and now I'm sitting here not knowing what to expect. And maybe that was confusing the way I just said that, but I just feel like I always expected that I was going to be a teacher. I always expected I was going to always live in Michigan. I always expected that I was going to finish college and do this and that. I always expected that this person would be in my life and that person would be in my life. And now I'm just lost and stuck and obliterated. I am obliterated. I have had a sudden obliteration of all of a sudden I do not have expectations. I think I've talked before in my videos about this fire that I've always had in me, no matter what was happening, and how it's kind of just diminished. I had an expectation that I would always have this fire in my soul, and then it got gone. And it was terrifying. It was one of the hardest things about this year for me. I'm very excited for what comes next. I'm very excited to go live with my friends, but also there is that same feeling of goneness. In the video, Hank Green said that we should have a word for what this feeling is, and he named it the sudden obliteration of expectation, and I think that that is a very good phrase for it, but also I want there to be a word. And goneness is definitely not what the word is, and it's kind of a hokey word, but I feel like it's maybe right. Just this feeling of goneness and goneness of expectation. Like when you lose a friend, there's a goneness. When you move, there's a goneness. You have a ness of gone, and it's just gone, and now you're here without it, and now you have to live with that, and that is a very hard thing to do. Hi, Ash the editor here again in my new living situation. I just wanted to say this is a very hard video to edit, having just lost my friend, and it's kind of really interesting because it's like this video is like foreshadowing, and I just wanted to mention that because I'm literally talking about like losing a friend and this feeling of goneness and just like empty, sad, and it's just, it feels like foreshadowing, and I had no idea, and that was just kind of interesting, so I wanted to mention it. With all of my videos, I like to add a positive thing to it. I don't want to just be all loom and gloom, and I definitely don't want my followers to feel depressed after watching a video of mine, so let me see what I can do. This is not going to be my last video about this. I know it's not. I have to do one about time bubbles at some point and about just a lot of other things that I've been sulking over the past year. Here's the thing about goneness, is it makes room. Goneness opens for openness. It opens for newness and new things that you wouldn't expect otherwise. At the funeral, the priest said a very similar thing, and he had said basically when part of us dies, a new part of us can be born. When my Christian university cut my major, there was a huge feeling of goneness, a extremely sudden obliteration of expectations, a very strong and sudden, utter obliteration of all of my expectations for my entire life. If that obliteration of expectations hadn't happened, if that goneness hadn't happened, I would not have had the experiences that I've had because of it. I would have been a very different person, and a person who I currently do not want to be. I can almost see in my mind's eye who I would have been, and it's not who I want to be. It's not who I've always wanted to be. Who I've always wanted to be is closer to this. I have green hair now, by the way. Fun fact, I really dig it. At this new college that I'm at currently, that I'm leaving currently, I have made a friend who I think will hopefully be a lifelong friend, and she has very quickly climbed the ranks to one of my best friends, I think. I hope that she feels the same way about me, but I'm not going to expect that of her. But the thing is that if I hadn't lost that whole expectation of what my life was going to look like at my Christian university, I would have never met her. I would be an extremely different person from who I am today. I wouldn't have grown in any of the ways I've grown in the past year. There would be a lot less heartbreak. There'd be a lot less short-term heartbreak, but a lot more long-term heartbreak, I believe. That is something that I do truly believe. And so I want to end this video saying if you have a sudden obliteration of expectation, which I think a lot of us do in this day and age because of the virus and everything, the global pandemic that is plaguing us, if you have this feeling of sudden obliteration of expectation, it is totally fine and normal, and it sucks, but, like, things will come from it. The song Closing Time by Semisonic has a lyric that I also put on my wall, and if you know the song, I feel like you already know what lyric I'm going to say, which is, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And that is so true. If there weren't ends, there would be no beginnings. When my Christian university cut my major, I immediately messaged my theater teacher from high school just saying, I don't know what I'm doing and I need help. I feel very lost. I feel just scared. And he sent me back a very thoughtful and helpful message. I forget what he said exactly. I wrote it on a piece of paper and I stickied it to my wall for an entire year, but I don't remember exactly what it said, but I'm going to get the gist of it. He basically said that whatever will be, and whatever is, and we end up exactly where we're supposed to be. And I really believe that. And that's something that I've believed for a while because of him, but it's something that's very true and real to me, and I do truly believe it. Whatever's going on in your life right now, I mean, we're all in 2020, it's probably not good, whatever's going on in your life. Maybe it is. I hope it is. I'm going to make a blanket statement and say that it's probably not too great, because nothing is too great in 2020. But I want to say that whatever happens, whatever's going on, it is opening doors for other things. I truly believe that there is a reason for everything that we've gone through, and new things will come. I wrote a song when my major got cut, and it was "Goodbyes Are Worth It for Hellos," and I need to record a good version of it because I keep talking about it. I keep talking about it and referencing back to it, but it's genuine. Like, that is what I actually believe, is that all of our goodbyes are worth it for the hellos that brought us there. Everyone, everything, every experience that we have brings us to who we will be. And it's not always fun, but it's always needed. For some reason or another. It could be that being abused in middle school makes it so that in college you can save a little girl's life. You never know what it's going to be. I hope you have a wonderful day, and next time I see you, I will not be in this space, and it will be a new day. A new season, a new turn, a new chapter, a new everything. Stay safe. Bye.